Alright, so we're back inside Norman's shop, I think. And when I did that, the game actually just quit. It started up. Whoa. Wait, why am I here? Oh. It started over. Or not started over, it quit out completely. So, it's actually much later now. I took a break, and it is much later. It's actually 3 a.m. Almost 3:30 a.m. Spooky time! Thunder! So yeah, let's see if I get scared by the shocking revelation. So I think, since I thought it would start me over, like, at the beginning of finding this shop, but I guess not, so I guess I've already talked or looked at Norman. Talked to Norman. Yeah, I talked to Norman. So yeah, I dug through it and found a hairpin. And I guess that's that. We'll see what he has to say about it. Yeah, I've already checked him. It's grayed out. That's too bad. I kinda wanted to not check on that, but what can you do? Let's go into the shop. I'm not gonna check that. And I'm not gonna check that. I'll check these though. Various postcards. The water tower. And the postcard with the water tower is very popular. What else would I be forced to endure before the end? Seeing Norman up there, dead. It turned my stomach just to think of it, but I couldn't put it out of my mind. How was he involved in all this? This was getting worse and worse. I was starting to feel incredibly vulnerable. As I stepped out into the rain, I realized how close I was to home. I hoped I would soon find my answers. So I don't really care about the rest of this run. I mainly just wanted to see what was in the factory and what's gonna be in the safe, and I'll get to you when, well, I won't skip, but like when we get to the safe, then you'll know, basically. Well, you'll not, you won't know. What am I talking about? I don't even know. It's late. Don't, yep, this is what happens. So, what I meant to say was, when we get to the safe, I'll explain my reasoning. It's quite complicated, and it's quite fun, and hopefully I can make a good video out of this. But I'm gonna go right to left this time. This wasn't the right gate. This wasn't my house. And here we go. And I'll go... Is it still right to left? Yeah, locked. And there was a mail thing here. I'm not gonna read that. And that's wrong. And this is his. Was there blood there? I'd entered our backyard. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna look at most things in my house here, because... Yeah, I won't look at that bill, though. I don't know why I would do that. There was a small pile of mail. Yeah, I do not open that. Looking at mail was pointless. I had to keep going. And yeah, he's not gonna go out. I mean, I'm guessing after this... the only thing that's gonna happen is, since I don't have the gun and I don't have the knife, I'm just gonna leave. Like, I had the option last time to just leave and never come back, and I guess that's what's gonna happen. But I'm very curious about the safe. The last missing piece of my wallet. I did keep that, and I'll check the television. And that's where I need the key. I don't want to look at that briefcase or suitcase. I'm basically gonna deny everything about her cheating on me, or dying, or anything. Laptop. Took the key. Okay, so I guess I go down to the basement first. Or where did I find that key again? I can't really remember. Old Christmas decorations. Old dirty key. Yes, take it. And we need to break through, but before we do that, I'm gonna hopefully open the safe. So this is what I've been waiting for. Wait, where's the safe? Oh, is the safe after you break through and find your wife? Yes. So I guess this time I'll choose that I actually find my wife. Because I don't want to get the insane ending. I was hoping it was something like, oh, Rachel was already away, or maybe Rachel was the murderer, or something, I don't know. At least not just the thing about, like, oh, it was all in my head. Because, I don't know, I didn't really like that. Yes, I broke through. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? And I don't think there's any way for me to actually make her okay. Don't look. I would rather not, but I think I have to. A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile, to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all this searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel? Yes. It was worse than I could have possibly imagined. Within the folds of that rotten-smelling, heavy fabric was the pale, dead figure of my darling wife. What struck me most was that she wasn't bloody or torn apart. Rather, she was covered in sickly green bruises, and her windpipe had been crushed. The real horror there was that whoever had killed her had done so intimately, with bare hands. So this is... oh... I wonder if that would have changed if I took the gun or the knife. So this is what had been gnawing in the back of my mind this whole time. This is what I was afraid of. I thought about all I had seen, and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Reluctantly, exhausted from my journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. And now the suitcase is gone. Maybe I would use some of Rachel's travel books and find some place to go. No matter what, I needed some kind of escape. So I'm gonna look at everything now. It was my wallet, with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again. No, you weren't sleepwalking. Was I at those places before? I guess... yes? I didn't see how it could have happened any other way. I must have been the one to lose my wallet and its contents. But what does that mean? There, that was decided. I don't know about these choices. It's so hard to know what's gonna be right or wrong. The reflection in that grimy glass was only a shadow, a whisper. The quiet in that room unnerved me terribly. I still loved the old-time charm of that claw-footed bathtub, though it seemed like cold comfort then. Rachel loved this part of the house. It was the key card I found in the factory, the one that allowed me to slip through that door. Well, it didn't. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's, but if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Did I say yes or no at this? Or to this? I don't remember. Yes. It must have been him. He must have been using the old locker room. I'd made up my mind. The laptop had finally run out of power. How long had it been left running? And now my laptop is running hot, so hopefully you won't hear that. I guess you wouldn't if I didn't say anything about it, but tough luck. From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. Just thinking about things like that made me sick with grief. Let's check the kitchen as well. Oh, and what was... Yeah, okay. The mail still sat there, heaped on the floor. How long had Rachel been lying in the basement? It seemed like that mail had been there for a while. There would be no more dinners here, no more chit-chat over breakfast. At least not for us. So, here comes the final showdown. The thing that has bothered me the most, and that I'm gonna try my best to crack. I leafed through the notebook I had taken from the forest. In it were the names that had been written down. Alright, I'm just gonna make sure that I wrote them down correctly. So just give me a second here. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. I recall the name I saw scratched out on that old desk, deep within those musty tunnels. Was the man in that house really up to something? Was he the one responsible for Rachel's murder? But I had found him dead. Alright, so here we go. My old office safe sat on the floor. It used a digital passcode to lock. Passcode lock. Did I try to open it? Yes. Alright, so here's the thing. I was gonna try sort of a thing about the names, but it turns out there are not even 8 names. I was gonna do either just the first, like, letters of all their names, or the number of letters in their names followed by each other. I thought that might have worked, but there are 9 names, so I guess I could take away Rachel and that might work, but I don't think that's it, because I went to their website and, like, because I need to sort of get in contact with their press to see about monetization and stuff like that, and I happened to see the FAQ, and one of the frequently asked questions is, let me find it here, actually. Where is it? What is the code to the safe? And the answer is, players who got in on the old school collector's edition had the means to discover this, and now it seems the internet has answered this question, if you know where to look, and that's a link. Steam users, you might want to check that fancy PDF manual you got with the game. So, there's 2 ways to do this, one that's fun and one that's boring. The Steam manual thing is the boring one, in my opinion. So, hopefully I can lay out or put up an overlay right now of a screenshot. This is what the site looks like, the link that you get to. And apparently this is what you get when you get the collector's edition. And there's like a folder with these files. And there's an MP3 file, a PDF file, and a bunch of other stuff. The PDF file is really interesting, but I'm not gonna read it. I'll open it here for you just so you can check. I'll see if I can get screenshots of maybe all of it. It's gonna be difficult though, but it's basically just a bunch of information about some town with like a town hall and some river, and I can't really remember. I read through it, but it wasn't really that interesting, and that doesn't really have anything to do with this, I believe. So what does have something to do with this is there is an MP3 file. Hopefully I can play it here. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I hope I am. I hope if the developers watch this, I hope they're okay with me just putting these in, because I'd like to play this for you right now. This is what the MP3 file sounds like.
3. You
and so that basically means 3U is 2 of the digits, and then there is a oh right, that PDF actually does have something that's relevant. I'll put it open here again, and you'll see that out of everything, 2 letters are overlaid, or overlined, or over whatever it's called, like marked. HE. So we have 3UHE. And then there's this image that I will put up here too, and it says R3 on the wall back there. It's very hard to see. It probably will be very hard to see in the video because it's a very low resolution image to begin with. And then finally there's a video that I won't play here because it's kind of pointless. Basically it's just a car or something pulling up to a house, and it's all like yellow. You can see the screenshot right there, and it says 4R. So the code, I think, is something like 4R 3U HE R3 or something like that, but I'd have to experiment with that. But the other way is looking at your Steam manual, and I'll pull up that image right now. Page 3 is sort of corrupted, and there's a bunch of like code or something or other, and you can see in the brackets there's 4R 3U HE R3. So that's kind of boring in my opinion if this works. So let's try this. 4R 3U U HE R3. The code worked. Awesome. I pulled open the small safe door and peered inside. Oh, I'm excited now. There was a photo in there of Rachel and I when we had first moved to town. In it, we were smiling outside the front of the house, which looked like a mess. We looked happy though. Odd. I couldn't remember who took that photo. Inside the safe was also an envelope. The front of it read, "Do not open until I tell you." I guess this was a good a time as any. It should be as good a time as any to see what was inside. Did I open the envelope and read what was inside? Of course. I tore open the envelope, and removed the yellow-lined paper inside. On it was a letter, written in a hand that looked familiar. The letter read, "I know this whole event has probably been pretty difficult. You can't imagine how hard it's been for me too. Well, maybe you can. That isn't meant to be an excuse, but, well, I hope you can better understand why I've done what I've done. Moving to this town seemed like such a dream, a quiet place to get established, to live out our lives, and to be together. But you know as well as I do that things quickly changed. Your drinking was one thing, but as you grew more distant, as you retreated into that world of yours, well, it was clear you didn't need me as much. In fact, maybe you never needed me at all, but it took me all this to make you realize. In the end, though, you may never forgive me for this, you may never forgive yourself, but this is probably for the best. You'll be healthier for this. I'm sorry it had to happen this way. Rachel. ... So, damn it! Now I am extremely curious what would happen if I said Rachel wasn't under there and he went through all this, "Oh, I guess it was all my imagination all along." What would have happened? What would have been in the safe? Would he still have seen the photo and went like, "Oh, I am not crazy after all. Rachel actually was here." I might have to do another playthrough of this sometime, but I think I'm going to leave that for some time in the future if I do. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe, I thought, I was ready to go back into the basement. Maybe there wouldn't be anything for me to find, but I had to take a last look. Now that I stood there, I realized I couldn't go back into that room again. I'd already seen too much. Come on now. I needed to put an end to this situation one way or another. Okay, I guess not. Can I still, like, go into the bathroom like before? No. So I guess I'm just leaving. To be honest, I'm not too fond of this ending either. Now I kind of wonder what would happen if I did everything the way I would have wanted to do the first time, and just sort of unlocked the safe. Basically looked at everything, made sure I did everything, and then unlocked the safe. Maybe there would have been a different ending, so I guess we'll see sometime in the future. There was nothing for me here anymore. No reason to stay in that house. Did I leave, never to return? I guess you did. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plant had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. I had MRIs and piles of doctor's reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. Come on now, why are you sleepwalking again? I didn't want you to sleepwalk. But I swear I tried to give it up. I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away, though. But I know Rachel had tried. I know she had tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was a final act of a long-standing horror I'd been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. Even the man I had found in that old place was a mystery. Why he was dead, or who had done it to him, was not something I could even begin to understand. Or why, for that matter, I was in that damn room in the first place. After making it out of those tunnels, I thought those sewers might feel safer. I was wrong. The security tape I had watched showed someone being attacked by what looked like two people. But who was it that was attacked? I'd found the contents of my wallet scattered throughout town. Why the hell had I been out there? Had my sleepwalking gone to some new extreme? Thought that I couldn't account for my whereabouts, but knew I had been to that forest, and even Norman's place. Well, it was terrifying. I didn't know what that meant, but at least I had recovered my things. Hopefully, I thought, that would cover my tracks, so I wouldn't be blamed for all this. Deep within those woods, though, was where things became truly awful. Finding that notebook only made things worse. Rachel's name had been on that list, so what terrible plot was she a part of? There was a similar list of names on the desk back in those tunnels. What was the connection? It was clear, at least, that Norman had been going back to the old plant. Maybe he was the one who had boarded up that locker room, who had been drinking up there in that secret hiding place. So had he killed that guard then? He must have. Maybe he was found out, or the guard had caught him on patrol. Damn it, Norman. Why? After the factory, I thought I might find some solace if I could get to Norman's store. But all I had found were more horrors and more questions. Now that I really consider it, that's when I should have seen it coming. Poor Norman was dead, but I had no idea what had happened to him. When I had marched through the rain towards towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end. And I guess in a way it did. But how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I had started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalked. To think of it now. Our house? What am I doing? Our house used to feel so lively, so warm, but coming into the kitchen, I felt only cold, a cold, empty tension. Every terrible thought I had up to that point was suddenly a possibility. but nothing could have prepared me. My wife, dead, ruined, discarded. Rachel's death was a terrible mystery to me, one that would haunt me forever, unless I did something about it. For what solace can a man take in the death of his wife? What comfort can be offered? Rachel had been taken away from me, and I might never know why. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of wet grass and fog. Rachel, my beautiful wife. Excuse me. Wife, just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn into? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew. The front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather that I should run. No, I don't really like that either. I wonder if there is another ending, a better ending, because it doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. In both my playthroughs, I haven't gotten answers to pretty much anything, and it really bothers me. I hope some of you enjoyed this, at least. At least I sort of covered some of my tracks, or some of my missed tracks. But yeah, I guess in the future sometime I might revisit this, possibly. And if I do, then I'll try to do everything. I'll complete everything completely and open the safe and see what happens. But I guess this is it. So, thank you very much for watching this series, and I'll see you in another game. And Dracula Origin just ended, so Origin. Yeah, I can't speak at 4 AM. So I'm gonna need 2 new games. I thought, I was hoping that I would at least, like, keep sort of cycling through them, where, like, I had one series going on, and then I came up with a new one, and then that one kept going until the first one was over, but I guess not. So I need 2 new series, and I guess I have a couple of things to try, but I really just need a new computer at this point. But yeah, as I said, thank you for watching and listening to my ramblings. This has been a very talky episode. I'm gonna have to cut out a lot so that I can make room for just this ending and all the reading that I have done now. So, 3rd time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in another game. Bye-bye!